On the day of the wedding, Robert cornered me in the bridal suite, forcing me to give Marcus up to Ivy. Even was there, trying to persuade me. Your sister is pregnant, she needs to get married right away. Make a sacrifice, let your sister have the wedding. You're so accomplished, you can find someone even richer later. I forced a laugh, incredulous. Marcus and I were a powerful alliance, with immense business potential. How could I possibly just give him up? In my shock, Robert shamefully slipped a cash gift envelope into my hand. Your sister's happiness depends entirely on you. Consider this paltry $200 in a cash gift envelope a lucky charm from your father, so you can marry someone else gloriously later. Dad, have you lost your mind? What nonsense are you talking about? I slapped away the paltry $200 in a cash gift envelope, trembling with rage. Your sister is 2 months pregnant with Marcus's child. Robert's voice suddenly rose. Do you want her to be talked about behind her back? You're her older sister, you have to help her. Susan clutched my hand, tears streaming down her face. Audrey, Ivy is still young, she can't handle this kind of humiliation. You've always been independent and filial since you were little, you'll definitely find someone better than Marcus later. Please feel deeply for your sister, let her have this wedding. I shook off her hand and sneered. If I give up the groom today, Audrey, I'll become the laughingstock of the entire city. Your little sister's reputation is saved, but my dignity deserves to be trampled on? Sister, I'm sorry, it's all my fault. Ivy cried, tears streaming down her face, timidly grabbing the hem of my dress. Marcus and I truly love each other, we both drank too much that night. I really didn't mean it, please, complete us. The baby can't be without a father. A surge of anger rose, and I forcibly suppressed the urge to slap Ivy. Love? Love each other on my bed? My single sentence rendered her face pale. Seeing this, Robert's face flashed with guilt. He was about to say something more when the bridal suite door was pushed open, and Marcus walked in. Marcus wore a pristine white tuxedo, identical to mine, looking handsome and tall, but his brows were furrowed. He scanned the people in the room, his gaze finally settling on me. Audrey, I know this is hard for you to accept. His voice carried a weariness. But as carrying my child after all, I have to be responsible for her. I looked at him, filled with utter disappointment. I had loved him for 3 years. You're such a good man. You don't deal with Ivy, you come to deal with me? Audrey, you've always been the most understanding and magnanimous. He took a step closer, trying to take my hand. Let's postpone the wedding for now, until I've handled Ivy's situation. Are you trying to exploit a glitch here? I interrupted him. Did you just happen to sleep with my sister while you were on your way to loving me? And buy one get one free, ending up with a child? Are you running a wedding special on me? My retort stunned him. Ivy immediately threw herself into his arms, crying even harder. Marcus, don't blame my sister, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have gotten pregnant, I'll go have the baby aborted tomorrow. Marcus held her protectively, his eyes filled with reproach as he looked at me. Audrey, look what you've done to her, she's pregnant. I looked at the 3 people closest to me, who had formed an impenetrable wall, pushing me towards an abyss. I laughed until tears welled up. I picked up the paltry $200 cash gift envelope from the floor and dangled it in front of Marcus. Fine. Everyone was stunned. I looked at Marcus with a beaming smile. I agree, but the wedding cannot be cancelled, the guests are all waiting. My answer made all 3 of them visibly relax, their faces showing expressions of profound relief. Robert immediately said, right, it can't be cancelled. Marcus, you and Ivy hurry up and get ready. I'll go speak with the MC. Susan, beaming, pulled Ivy close. Ivy, quick, Mom will take you to change into the wedding dress. Your sister's dress will surely look beautiful on you. Ivy leaned into Marcus's embrace, flashing a triumphant smile at me, though she said, thank you, sister. You'll always be my best sister. My eyes are practically bleeding, I replied expressionlessly. Your manipulative facade's glow is almost outshining the diamonds on my wedding dress. Her smile froze. Marcus frowned, his voice laced with condescending gentleness. Audrey, I know you're upset, but don't say things like that to hurt Ivy. Thank you for your understanding. I promise you, whatever you need in the future, I will compensate you. I looked at him with amusement. Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Images from 3 years ago flashed uncontrollably through my mind. It was at a high-profile gala, and Marcus, as the youngest heir of the Vance, was the center of attention. Yet, he held a glass and walked directly towards me, then a fresh face in the corporate world. Miss, I've noticed you for a long time. Your project proposal is exceptional. That was the first time I saw him. The admiration and intensity in his eyes made my heart race. Later, he pursued me relentlessly. He remembered all my preferences, silently brought dinner when I worked late, and postponed important meetings to be with me when I was sick. We naturally became a couple, and everyone said we were a match made in heaven. The makeup artist carefully approached me and asked, "Miss, your veil." "No need." I stood up, tore off the veil, and tossed it onto the sofa. I picked up the bridal bouquet from the table and strode out of the bridal suite. The wedding march had already begun, the hall was filled with guests, and a battery of cameras and reporters were aimed at the wedding entrance. My parents, Robert and Susan, and Marcus's parents sat at the main table, their FACES beaming with undisguised joy. I walked onto the stage. The spotlight shone on me, the MC froze, and the guests below began to whisper, "Where's the groom? Why is the bride coming up alone?" I picked up the MC's microphone, cleared my throat, and the grand ballroom instantly fell silent. I looked at the vast crowd below, a radiant smile on my face. "Thank you, esteemed guests, for taking the time out of your busy schedules to attend my wedding. Today is a good day, a double celebration." The people below exchanged bewildered glances. I paused, then fixed my gaze on Marcus and Ivy, who were hurrying from backstage. "Because today, I'm not only announcing my marriage," I emphasized my words, "I'm also announcing here that my dear sister is pregnant." The entire hall erupted in an uproar. I watched with satisfaction as Marcus's face turned ashen. The biological father of the child is today's groom, the great Mr. Marcus. As soon as I finished speaking, the entire wedding venue exploded. "What's going on? Changing the bride on the wedding day? And the new bride is the original one's sister? That's shocking. Mr. Williams, the Vance's golden boy, sure knows how to play. Sleeping with both sisters?" Flashbulbs popped wildly, and reporters, carrying cameras, rushed towards the stage. Robert and Susan's faces instantly turned pale, and Robert pointed at me, trembling all over. Marcus's parents looked ashen, and his mother rolled her eyes and fainted from shock. "Audrey, you're crazy." Marcus's eyes were bloodshot as he rushed onto the stage, trying to snatch the microphone from my hand. I deftly sidestepped, dodging his grasp. "You forced me to call off the engagement, and now that I've revealed what you did, I'm crazy?" My voice was clear and sarcastic. "Keep family matters private." Marcus trembled with rage. "Do you have to make such a scene? Why didn't you say, 'Keep family matters private' when you were forcing me in the bridal suite?" I scoffed. "Why? Oh, you, Mr. Marcus, the golden boy, got your fiancé's sister pregnant. Are you ashamed of that?" "Sister, please don't say anything more," Ivy cried, running onto the stage, clutching Marcus's arm and leaning against him weakly. "It's all my fault, don't blame Marcus. Blame me instead." Her damsel in distress act was a perfect picture of delicate, yet utterly contemptible, fragility. Marcus immediately shielded Ivy behind him, glaring at me. "Audrey, Ivy is delicate. Are you trying to make her lose both her and the baby?" "Don't worry, I won't do anything to her," I said. "The child in her belly is the firstborn son and heir of the Vance family, it's very precious." Below, Marcus's father's face turned even uglier. "This arranged marriage was based on my capabilities, Audrey's, not on an illegitimate child who couldn't be brought into society. You jinx. Our family has no daughter like you." Robert roared at me in a fit of rage. Susan also pointed at me and cursed, "You're too malicious. How could you treat your sister like this? Is your heart made of stone?" Taking a deep breath, I spoke into the microphone again. "Ladies and gentlemen, the farce is over. Now, let's talk business." My gaze swept over the guests, whose expressions varied, finally resting on Julian, who sat calm and collected. He smiled slightly at me, nodding. "My engagement to Marcus is officially dissolved. However, the alliance between the Sterling family and the Vance family remains valid." My words stunned everyone. As confusion spread among the crowd, Julian slowly stood up. He strode onto the stage, his powerful aura instantly enveloping the entire venue. He naturally took my hand. Picking up another microphone, his deep voice resonated clearly in everyone's ears. "Ladies and gentlemen, today is my wedding. Audrey is the woman I am marrying." With that one sentence, the entire place was thunderstruck. The guests below erupted in murmurs. Marcus's uncle married his nephew's ex-fiancée? Audrey's fortune is incredible, she lost a sesame seed and found a watermelon. Julian, the power player, has finally been taken off the market. Robert and Susan were completely dumbfounded, their mouths agape, unable to utter a sound for a long time. Marcus's eyes widened, staring in disbelief at our clasped hands, his voice trembling. "Uncle, you too. Julian didn't even bother to glance at him, instead turning his head to look at me gently. Audrey, will you marry me? He proposed to me in front of everyone. I looked into his deep eyes, where my own reflection was clearly visible. I nodded vigorously. I will. Julian smiled, taking a box from his pocket. Inside was a massive pink diamond ring, sparkling under the lights. He took my hand and slowly slipped the ring onto my ring finger. The size was perfect. From today on, you are Mrs. Vance. He lowered his head and lightly kissed my forehead. Finally, someone reacted, and sparse applause broke out, growing warmer and more enthusiastic. The shrewd business people immediately understood what this meant. Marcus, the nominal heir, was completely out of the picture. And I had suddenly become the true mistress of the Vance family. No, impossible. Ivy shrieked, scrambling to her feet and pointing at me. Audrey, you tramp, you've been seducing Uncle all along. You set me up. I looked at her coldly, saying nothing. Julian's expression darkened. He gave a look to the bodyguards below. Immediately, 2 men in black came onto the stage and, one on each side, restrained the flailing Ivy. Get them out of here. Julian's voice carried an unchallengeable authority. Yes, sir. The bodyguards dragged Ivy, who was still cursing relentlessly, and a disconsolate Marcus, towards the exit. Wait. I spoke up. I walked up to Marcus, and seeing his disheveled state, I suddenly found it somewhat amusing. Marcus. I smiled, my voice soft. From today on, when you see me, remember to call me Auntie. Marcus's body jolted, and he looked up, his eyes filled with endless humiliation and regret. I didn't spare him another glance, turning back to Julian's side. Robert and Susan were also escorted out by the bodyguards. Robert kept calling my name, begging me to spare the Sterling family. I paid him no mind. The MC nervously walked onto the stage, and at Julian's signal, continued with the wedding. In front of everyone, Julian and I exchanged vows, becoming legal spouses. Looking at the tall, handsome man beside me, I knew very well that this was just the beginning of another transaction. There was no love between us, only mutual benefit. My married life with Julian was much more harmonious than I had imagined. We were like any ordinary couple, going to work together, coming home together, eating together. He remembered all my preferences, no scallions, no ginger, a fondness for sweets. He would make me a warm glass of milk when I worked late into the night. He would awkwardly press a heating pad to my stomach when I had period cramps. There was no passionate love between us, but a steady, flowing warmth. Under his protection, my firm developed rapidly and quickly established itself in Metroville's business world. I became known as the legendary woman who possessed beauty, wisdom, and wealth. As for the aftermath involving the Sterling family and Marcus, I occasionally heard news. After the Sterling family's bankruptcy, Robert and Susan plummeted overnight from the clouds into the mud. Accustomed to mansions and a life of luxury and comfort, they couldn't adapt to ordinary life. Susan couldn't bear the disparity and soon divorced Robert, supposedly marrying a wealthy old man. Robert, burdened with massive debts, was chased by creditors and forced to hide everywhere. I heard he eventually went back to a small rural town to farm. As for Marcus and Ivy, their lives were even more miserable than my parents'. The child in Ivy's belly was indeed not Marcus's. That day, I had only bluffed casually, but to my surprise, it turned out to be true. It was rumored to be from a petty gangster she had hooked up with earlier. When found out, he immediately cut ties with her. They had a messy breakup, and Ivy eventually aborted the child, took the last bit of money from Marcus, and disappeared. As for Marcus, stripped of the Vance family's prestige and burdened by immense debt, he quickly transformed from a golden boy into a pariah. He tried to make a comeback but met with obstacles at every turn. He came to find me a few times, begging me to help him out for old time's sake. I simply had security throw him out. Old time's sake? That had been completely depleted on our wedding day. One day, I saw him again downstairs at my firm. He wore a cheap suit, his hair greasy, his face covered in stubble, looking destitute and, seeing me step out of the car, he immediately rushed over, only to be stopped by bodyguards. Audrey, listen to me. He shouted excitedly, I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. Please give me another chance, okay? Let's start over. I looked at him and suddenly felt a pang of pity. Marcus, I said calmly, do you know what your mistake was? He was stunned. Betraying you? Or, choosing Ivy? No, neither. I shook my head. Your biggest mistake, Marcus, was overestimating yourself and underestimating me. You assumed I couldn't survive without you. And you believed Ivy, with your child, would elevate her position. You treated everyone as pawns on your chessboard, never realizing you were nothing more than a discarded piece in someone else's game. After saying my piece, I ignored Marcus and walked straight into the office building. Behind me, his desperate roar echoed. That was the last time I ever saw Marcus. Later, I heard he was sentenced to 10 years for fraud. A person's fate is sealed the moment they make a choice. A year later, it was my wedding anniversary with Julian. He reserved a private island and prepared a grand fireworks Out for me. Brilliant fireworks erupted in the night sky, illuminating his handsome profile. He hugged me from behind, resting his chin on my shoulder. Audrey, do you like it? I nodded, leaning into his embrace. I really do. Audrey. He suddenly called my name, his voice a little tense. I turned around to face him. What is it? He took a small box from his pocket, opened it, revealing a pair of simple platinum rings. These, he said, a little embarrassed, I designed them myself. They're not as costly as that pink diamond, but they represent my devotion. When we got married, it was so rushed, we didn't even have matching rings. So, I want to propose to you again. He knelt down on one knee, holding up the rings, and looked up at me, his gaze sincere and passionate. Miss, will you marry me, a man who has coveted you for many years and resorted to some elaborate plans, and let him spend the rest of his life making it up to you? My tears, once again, fell uncontrollably. This time, they were tears of happiness. I nodded emphatically and stretched out my hand. I do. He slipped the ring onto my finger, then stood and pulled me into a tight embrace. My love, I love you. I love you too, my love. We embraced and kissed beneath the dazzling fireworks. The sea breeze swept by, carrying a salty scent and endless tenderness. I once thought my world had collapsed at that wedding. But I'd forgotten, when God closes one door, He always opens a window. And was the brightest window in my life. He illuminated all my darkness and healed all my wounds. He showed me that, it turns out, to love and be loved is truly a beautiful thing. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your views, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.